Hi, my name is Angelo Garcia III from Future Environment Designs. I've been in the asbestos industry for 40 years, and my company has been doing asbestos work for 34 years.
My name's Daniel Crothers. I'm from AirBox Sampling Products. I've been working in this industry for the last 5 years, and the AirBox has been in this industry for must be about 15 years now, UK company, and we're just bringing this product to the North American market. We're excited and talking with Angelo and his team here.
Thank you. So basically, we're here to talk about pumps and how pumps are used in the asbestos industry and in the mold industry. Here in the U.S., asbestos pumps are basically used for doing ambient sampling, which is sampling outside of the work area. And then we use them for clearance, which is sampling that's done inside the area to basically make sure the area is clean before we provide it back to the public. All right, and there are two types of pumps we use in the industry. Typically, we use rotary pumps and diaphragm pumps. Both of these pumps require them to be plugged in, and basically both these pumps do run from roughly somewhere between 5 and 15 liters per minute. Diaphragm pumps don't run as high. Rotary vane pumps run as high as 15 and can run higher than that. All right, so those are the two main pumps that are used in the industry. Clearance sampling pumps are usually run with TEMs, and TEM only requires volumes of roughly about 1,200 liters per minute, 1,200 liters of air, and they'll run for about 10 liters per minute. For NIOS, or what we call PCM analysis, those pumps should run for about 3,000 liters and a maximum flow rate at 16 liters per minute. In New York State and New York City, there may be lower volumes because those New York State and New York City have minimum volumes, but those volumes would not be in compliance with the NIOS 7400 method, which requires 3,000 liters. So we're talking about sampling that's going to take, some samples are going to take as long as 4 hours. Some samples are going to take 2 hours, all right? So both these pumps, because they're electric, are able to do that and able to meet those requirements. But one of the biggest game changers in the industry would be a pump that doesn't require electricity, all right? Doesn't require to be plugged in. We always have problems where we don't have electric or we have to get generators in. And so we're always looking for a pump that could do some high volume sampling, which is what we're talking about, and can do that without being plugged in.
And that's where we come in. So the background of this pump is actually from obviously doing this very similar sort of testing for ambient and clearance monitoring. And in UK, the regulations are slightly different, where it's a 480 litre test. Sample size, and commonly that's done at 16 litres a minute. So it's right in the flow range of where Angelo's talking about for these sample tests. This product, we actually upgraded the design from, I suppose, a traditional metal box style pump. And really, when we were looking from a design point of view, we wanted to incorporate something that was easy to use. And looked at user safety as well from a compliance point of view, but also from the area of decontamination. So obviously these pumps are going from site to site, they're going into their vehicles, workplaces. So having something that is easy to decontaminate and easy to maintain, but obviously also will carry out the testing that it's got to do in the first place. So that's really what we looked at for this pump. Simple, ease of use, and site setup.
Right. It's funny because that's the dirty little secret in the asbestos industry is the fact about the pumps. We run the pumps inside the work area. Well, it's a contaminated area. But we run those pumps basically to do clearance, and we're supposed to decontaminate them. Yeah. But because we run clearance, and if clearance passes, well, the pumps aren't contaminated then. So that's kind of the dirty secret in the industry.
Yeah.
We really don't decontaminate the pumps.
That's right, and I think that's where asbestos, from a starting point, that's how it became such an issue, is that secondary contamination. So it wasn't just the people that are mining were using it in ACMs. It was that asbestos was coming back into the home.
Right.
So you had that secondary contamination to loved ones.
Right.
So that was a really key factor for us in redesigning the products that we had.
Right. That's great. So once you demonstrate the product for us.
Absolutely. So this is the new. This is the Veriflow model sampling pump. We had this out. We were playing with this earlier. So the pump itself would actually come all set up like this. So looking at from the point of view of ease of site setup. Straight out of the box, it's quite a compact, easily set up pump. You would have a telescopic mask, so again, trying to have a product where you're not having to carry a lot of accessories around. That's quite common practice as well. A simple flat back, so with this pump you can carry two back to back. And you were saying earlier how a surveyor will have up to 10 pumps for a site, so constantly carrying back and forth those pumps. So each of these pumps is about 10 pounds, so it's nice, two in each hand, back to back. So the setup for the Veriflow model is very simple, and what you can see is it's just a 4-button control. Again, just trying to keep it user-friendly. Once you actually start the sequence up, it'll come up with the serial number, the firmware version. But one of the things that we're really keen to ensure that we do from an ease of use perspective is having prompts. So in setting up the calibrating the flow, the screen will actually give you prompts to actually take you through that process. What you find is if you try and start it straight away, it'll say flow not set. So to set the flow, we just press the down button there. It'll give you a calibration point. So automatically when it comes up, this is coming up straight under about 9 litres a minute. To increase or decrease that, it's just the up or down arrows for that digital control. So if we're setting to about 10 litres a minute, once that you've got your selected point, press stop. So now it's calibrated to 10 litres a minute. The next step is you can have either a free running, so for your ambient monitoring, you can free run, or you can set to a timed test. Let's say, for example, it's a time test. We can put 2 hours in there. And there we go. So it will work from 2 hours and it'll just count it down. As soon as it gets to end of time, then the pump will switch off. And it's as simple as that. Now, once you actually finish your test, it will again prompt you to check the flow. So before and after testing, check the calibration point. So it will make sure that you connect the flow meter, and it will run back just to cross-check that the flow has remained stable from that test period. Nice and simple. So simple user features, but added that into a nice telescopic mask that's integrated into the pump. You've got a hose reel here, so again, you're not having to carry things on shoulders. It's all fully integrated into the unit.
Yeah, we use milk crates.
That's the thing. You got to use what you got to use. It's whatever's got to work. And that's again, a lot of this design has sort of been incorporated from how we develop it and how we use it in the UK market. But there's a lot of similarities, obviously, with the North American market. In UK, for example, we're not using a pre-filled cassette. because they'll be doing their acetone clearance on site, and PCM through the microscope will be on site.
Right.
Yeah.
In New York, you can't do that.
Yeah.
New York requires, right, has to go to a laboratory.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what's. I think that's something that as we go out to new markets all the time, you're always getting a slight variation of the same process,
Right.
And that's what's unique, but sometimes very challenging in trying to develop a pump that's as much a one size fits all.
Right.
While still being robust and doing everything that the pump is required to do.
Right.
So it was really important for us to make something that was easy to use, easy to carry around. But as you can see, it's fully encapsulated, so IP65 rated. So from a decontamination point of view,
Very easy.
baby wipes, wet wipes,
Yep.
shower-proof, so you can actually fully decontaminate
Right.
from the site. What we'll do is the other thing we looked at is from site maintenance. So this is battery operated.
Right.
It can be battery and mains operated. So through a different 4 amp charger, you can run it off the mains. But what you're saying before in terms of site accessibility and not just being able to carry those pumps around, but being able to work off the battery. And this is just easily accessible with a flathead screwdriver. This is run off a sealed lead acid battery. So again, going from a point of view of there's such a wide array of batteries available out there, and getting a battery that has the run times that you need, but is also widely accessible. Sealed lead acid batteries is a very common industrial use in maritime and security products. So it's
readily available.
Readily available. So for people that on site, it's just quickly flick off the battery terminals, place a new one in. And it has a memory chip in there as well, so it can actually pick up if it's between runtime, it will pick up from its last runtime.
Oh, wow.
So ease of maintenance was a big thing for us.
And the bright yellow color is excellent, on a construction site. On a
Yes.
construction site, it's a lot easier to see. Maybe people actually think it's a cone instead of a pump.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, that was a nice feature to incorporate that into yellow, a structural engineered foam. So it's a hard wearing plastic, and as I say, easy to see on site.
Right.
At the end of the runtime, it will also say recheck. So the prompts will actually say recheck your calibration.
I noticed that. I think that's really neat.
It's just simple things to add on to the process. Your surveyor's got so many checkpoints that I've got to carry through, and obviously you're going to get the very experienced surveyors that know that they've done this day in, day out, but you've got a constant flow of new people into the industry. Yeah. A simple cross-check like that is, right, okay, I've got to check my calibration.
Right. So just one thing is, you mentioned surveyors. We call them project monitors.
Sorry, yeah.
So this way we get the difference.
Yes, absolutely. And as I say, we will have variations in each territory that we go to, and regulations required. It's it's fun.
I would think that's part of the fun of it. Not everything's the same.
You're always challenged, and that's the great thing. From our perspective, that means that we're always challenging our kit. We're always looking at what are we doing, is it serving the people that are working with it.
Right.
And the next step from these, we're looking at integrating that further into a data capture perspective. So again, from this side, those flow rates, those samples collected, that's all manually written down into your reports. But to pull that in from a data capture and pull that into automated reports, a PDF file, a CSV file, that can be part of a broader project.
That sounds
project.
interesting. Yeah, a thing I like, one of the things you mentioned that I saw that you're already working on, is that it's going to be similar to the personal sampling pumps where you can the flow meter is built in.
Yes.
That I think is exciting because now that's one more thing I don't have to bring to the site.
Yeah,
The
very
pump
much
has
so.
the flow meter already in it.
Yeah, and this again it comes from the whole aspect of compliance and burden of proof. From a building manager, a project manager, actually to be able to come up to your client and say, these are the tests we've done, and this is all the detail behind it.
Right.
It's a whole documentary paper trail.
Right.
So that's. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Occupational hygiene, that whole personal monitoring aspect, is so robust and so strong. Asbestos needs, the asbestos industry is catching up with that, and it's where the technology hasn't quite.
Right.
come to
It
those
really seems like the technology has become stale. At least from an asbestos side, it's like we've gotten to the rotary vane, we've gotten to the diaphragm pumps, and we haven't changed. I used diaphragm pumps when I started. I used rotary vanes later on. Nothing has changed with these pumps since then. and we're talking 40 years here.
And it does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
So I think unless someone challenges it or there's a change in regulations,
Right.
and regulations only go one way. So industry has the opportunity to help drive into that and help move those things forward.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
Yeah.
Like I said, I like this pump. There's a lot of things to like about this pump. Like I said, the fact that the bright color, the fact that you can just basically calibrate it, tells you how to calibrate it. It's battery operated, so I can put it anywhere I want. I could tell you how many times I've sat there and said, "Oh, I want to sample here." There's no plug here, and now I have to find a plug.
Where's that compressor gone?
Yeah. And heaven forbid, there's a lot of times now we do basically controlled demo jobs. Controlled demo jobs basically means we're demoing the building, so that basically means there is no electric.
Yeah.
So how are we supposed to do our sampling? The regulations require us to sample for these things. So you need a battery-operated pump, or you need to bring a generator. Well, guess what? If I don't have to bring a generator and I got a battery-operated pump, well, that's a game changer right there.
Absolutely. And there's such a wide array of batteries themselves. You come down to lead acid and NIMH and lithium ion, and getting the right battery level and something that can be easily integrated into a unit. And then, of course, you've got, especially with lithium ion, there's shipping going through airlines and road freight. So there's a lot to incorporate into that process, and that's an area that we're continually trying to evolve, is how can we get longer run times, but still ensure that all the hardware keeps up with that.
Right.
We're constantly trying to move forward and bring new things to market, and I think that's important, not just from what we're doing as a manufacturer, but from an industry. How do you keep improving? Right.
Yeah, no, that is very important, and especially in asbestos industry is kind of an old industry, right? The first abatement started at least in the U.S., the first abatement jobs were like in 1970s.
Well, yeah.
And so it is a fairly decent, long industry, but the industry really hasn't progressed. The industry is kind of still doing the same things it was doing back in the 80s.
Yes,
so.
yeah. And it's because it's ticked the boxes. It's doing.
Yeah,
it's following the regulations.
What is that saying? Basically, if it ain't broke, don't fix
That's
it.
exactly it. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
So no, it's. I mean, we're very pleased with what we've done so far, but for us, this is step one.
Right.
And
I'm glad to hear that.
and we're really excited to bring this to North American market. It's something that it's been well established in UK, and we've got pumps in the field and through Europe and New Zealand, and we're looking through Australia at the moment. Again, every market has its slight variations of the same process, really.
Right.
But that's part of the challenge, and that's what we really enjoy about this process and this industry.
That's great. All right, Dan. So where can we get this device?
Right, so we are, I think initial stages, have a look through our website, so that's www.airboxsp.com, and obviously we are looking through for distribution channels in North America. We do have a warehouse space in Long Island, so not far from you.
Right, yep, Bohemia.
Bohemia, yes.
Yep.
So yeah, very handy. So we're still establishing that. I think at this stage, checking through with our website, we'll constantly update that information.
Right.
But certainly our intention is to have US-based supply lines and service lines as well. And we're very thankful for the support you've given us so far. So
Right.
I'm sure your followers and your customers will be speaking with you on this product, and
Right.
we'll maintain that communication through.
Yep. Like I told you already, what I told you earlier is that basically I've shown your product to a couple of my clients already, and they're really excited about it. Especially, like I said, the battery operated is a game changer for high volume pumps. That's a touchdown right there.
Fantastic.
So that's good. That's really the big thing.
And we will actively look for people to help us, do some field testing. So we will be making some pumps available. So for some of your key accounts, that we can have some field testing work and get people using it, get that feedback, because this is a pump that we've set up for the UK market.
Right.
For the most part, it will capture what is needed for North American, but there will be variations. So we're always looking at how can we improve that product offering. So having those field trials is perfect for us.
Great. And basically, Future Environment Designs has also basically created some charts. So these flow charts are for basically incorporate the regulations. These flow charts are basically give you the regulations, the flow rates, what's required, the volumes and everything like that. The other side kind of sets up how you're supposed to set everything up and calibrate things. So we have ones for the federal level, the state level, and the city level.
That's fantastic, and having something there that is you can easily bring on site, has a quick reminder and cross checks. And we've been using this as part of our internal testing, just to cross check, making sure that it's capturing everything it needs to from a federal and state level.
Right.
That's been a gold mine for us.
That's great. I'm glad it's been useful.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I think that would be all.
Yeah, I think we've covered quite a lot of ground.
Yep, I think so. And I look forward to the future products. I look forward to basically continuing my tests with this product, and basically seeing how it runs through the paces, and get it out in the field and see what happens in the field.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the main thing as well, because what you test on the bench doesn't always replicate into the field, and we're really excited just bringing this in and just making sure that it does exactly what is needed for this market, bring on the questions.
Okay, thank you. No, it's great. Look forward.
No, and thank you for your time, and thank you for the support and going through this process. The biggest part is actually just speaking to users that are in the know and know the industry inside out.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.